The Gifts of Imperfection by Brené Brown. I used to wake up every day and put on my mask. It wasn't made of plastic or paint. It was made of smiles, achievements, and the word, I'm fine. People saw confidence. What they didn't see was the fear behind it. The fear of not being enough. Perfection became my shield. And I wore it so long. I forgot what my real face looked like. Until one day, the mask cracked. And through that crack, the truth began to breathe. For years, I lived in a quiet war with myself. Every morning, I woke up and put on my armor. The smile, the checklist, the I can handle it attitude. I was a mother, a wife, a researcher, a teacher. And underneath all those titles was a woman terrified of not being enough. I believed that if I could just do everything right, if I could keep everyone happy, if I could hold it all together, then maybe, just maybe, I'd finally feel worthy. I chased approval like oxygen. Every "you're amazing" felt like a drop of water on dry ground, but it never lasted. The moment something went wrong, a messy house, a bad grade from my students, a harsh comment online. The shame would rush back in. You're not good enough. You should have done better. It was exhausting. At night, after everyone went to bed, I'd sit in the quiet and feel the weight of it all. the pressure, the pretending. The fear that if anyone saw the real me, they'd walk away. I remember standing in the kitchen once, staring at a sink full of dishes. Thinking, I can't keep doing this. Not the dishes, the pretending. That night, I cried until I couldn't breathe. And when the tears finally stopped, a small question rose up inside me. What if being perfect isn't the goal? What if being real is? That question became a seed, and it changed everything. At first, I didn't know how to live differently. I was so used to performing that silence felt like failure. But then I noticed something. The more I tried to control life, the more disconnected I became from it. I missed the small, beautiful moments. My daughter's giggle when she spilled juice. The way my husband hummed while cooking. The soft stillness of a sunset. I was there, but I wasn't present. One day, a friend invited me to lunch. Her name was Claire. She wasn't like me. She didn't hide her messy moments. She laughed with them, as if she could see what others saw. The beauty in being human. Her hair was wild. Her laugh was loud. And her energy filled the whole cafe. I watched her spill coffee on her sleeve. Wipe it off and keep talking like nothing happened. When she caught me staring, she said, "What? It's just coffee." And I realized I would have spent an hour apologizing for that. I asked her, "Don't you ever worry about what people think?" She smiled. "Of course I do. But if I spend my life trying to be liked, I'll forget how to be me." That line stayed with me. It echoed for days. Because I had forgotten how to be me. That evening, I opened my journal and wrote 3 words. I feel lost. It was the first honest thing I'd said to myself in years. From that night on, I started writing every day. Not about goals, not about achievements, but about how I really felt. Afraid, tired, lonely, hopeful. And slowly, a pattern appeared. Every story I'd heard in my research, every interview, every heartbreak, every triumph. They all pointed to the same truth. The people who lived with joy weren't perfect. They were wholehearted. They showed up exactly as they were. They laughed, cried, failed. And kept going anyway. They didn't hide behind masks. They lived with open hearts. I wanted that. But wanting it meant letting go of my armor. And that terrified me. The first time I tried, it was a mess. I was giving a lecture. I wanted to sound polished, smart, in control. Halfway through, I lost my notes. My hands began to shake. the old me would have covered it up. Kept talking faster, pretending everything was fine. But something whispered, "Let them see you." So I stopped, looked up, and said, "I just completely lost my notes." The room went quiet. Then someone laughed, and I laughed too. For the first time, I wasn't performing. I was connecting. Afterward, a woman came up to me and said, "Thank you for being real. You made me feel brave." That moment changed how I spoke. How I taught, how I lived. Because people don't need you to be perfect. They need you to be human. Perfection builds walls. Vulnerability builds bridges. That became my practice. Every day in small ways. Vulnerability isn't weakness. It's courage in its purest form. It's showing up when you can't control the outcome. And it's hard. Every time I choose honesty over approval, fear whispers, "What if they don't like the real you?" But every time I take that risk, I discover something deeper. That real love only meets you when you stop pretending to be someone else. One morning, my daughter was painting. She spilled water and tears filled her eyes. "I messed it up," she said. I knelt beside her and whispered, "No, honey, you made something new." She looked down at the page. the colors mixing softly together. And smiled, seeing something new instead of something ruined. That moment was a lesson. Mistakes aren't the end. They're part of creation. That's what imperfection is. The birthplace of connection, of creativity, of courage. I also learned about shame. That voice that says, "You're not enough." "You're too emotional." "You're too much." Shame is a liar. It grows in silence. But when you speak it out loud, it loses its power. So now, when that voice whispers, I answer softly, I'm doing my best. And I remind myself, I don't have to be perfect to be worthy. One afternoon, I met an old man in the park. He was feeding birds. We talked for a while. He told me, my wife passed away last year. I still talk to her every morning. Then he smiled. A quiet, gentle smile, and said, love doesn't disappear when they're gone. It just changes form. His words stayed with me. He wasn't hiding his grief. He was honoring it. That's what wholehearted living looks like. In a world that rewards filters, choosing to be real is an act of rebellion. Some days I still forget. I still compare. I still try to please. I still try to control. But now I stop. I breathe. And I remind myself, I am enough even when I make mistakes. Even when I stumble. Even when I don't have all the answers. The most beautiful people I've met are the ones who laugh through tears, who love again after heartbreak, who rise again after falling. Because imperfection isn't failure. It's proof that we're alive. Once during a workshop, a woman told me, "I can't love myself until I lose weight." I looked at her and said, "What if love was never the prize?" But the way home to yourself. She cried, and so did half the room. Because deep down, we all crave the same truth. To be seen, to be accepted, to be enough. So today, try this with me. Stand in front of the mirror, take a deep breath, and say, "I'm enough, not someday, today." Even if your voice shakes, even if you don't fully believe it yet, say it anyway. Because every act of self-acceptance rewrites the story of shame. When I stopped chasing perfection, life became lighter. I laughed more. I listened deeper. I loved wider. And every time I forget, life reminds me. Perfection is the enemy of growth. Authenticity is the path to freedom. If you look closely, imperfection is what makes art beautiful. The tiny cracks, the uneven brush strokes, the way colors mix where they shouldn't and still belong. That's what makes it real. And maybe that's what makes us beautiful too. Because we were never meant to be flawless. We were meant to be whole. So take off the armor. Let yourself be seen. Laugh. Cry. Stumble. Rise. And know that you are already enough. That's the truth I live by now. And that is the gift of imperfection. Did you like Brené Brown's book? Then this next one is for you. I thought it was just me.
Or, if you've ever wondered why we always chase what's next, you'll love this one. The Molecule of More.